Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm Anton, and you guys wanted more INXS. So we threw up the, obviously, the theme of the week vote, and INXS came in, I think, third place. You guys wanted more INXS. And this is Mystify, which is directly requested by you, Daphne. And so I'm excited. The last song we did by INXS was fantastic. I forget the name of it, but it was great. And it was like shot in Prague, I think. Great music video, great song. I have to get around, as David always says, to making a playlist for you guys of all of my hits of the channel. Or maybe what I'll do is I'll commission all you guys. I'll be like, all right, go through my videos and find the ones where I smile the most and just make a big playlist of all the ones where I'm smiling a lot. But anyway, so let's get into INXS, Mystify. Yeah, let's do it, people. We're gonna turn this. Have I heard this before? I feel like I've heard something like this before.
Oh, this. Alright, all vowels and Mystify. Okay.
Michael Hutchinson, right?
Oh, there's a mystic.
Oh, he has a great voice when it's just solo.
I'm in love that you'll divine. Some silken moment.
Wow, he has a great voice, Michael does. I think his name's Michael.
And we're leaving broken hearts behind.
What happens here? Chorus.
In the chorus. Mystify. The new one, yeah. You mystify me.
What happens? Repeat it.
Mystify.
I love this, just the behind the scenes.
I need perfection. Some twisted selection.
I didn't know INXS ever got like
Tangles me.
just great solid drum beat and groove.
In all that exists, when none has your beauty, I see your face, and I will survive.
I'll do a little.
Mystify me.
The production's phenomenal in this song, especially for I think 80s.
Eternally wild with the power to make every moment come alive. All those stars that shine upon you, where they kiss you every night. All veils and misty streets are blue.
He has great charisma to him too, just like a lot of rich voice.
That chill divine. Some silken moment goes on forever. And we're leaving, yeah, we're leaving broken hearts behind. You mystify me.
I love the pullback of everything here.
Mystify, you mystify me.
Yeah.
You're eternally wild with the power to make every moment come alive. All those stars that shine upon you, where they kiss you every night. Mystify, you mystify me. Mystify.
Yeah, okay, INXS, I see why you guys like them a lot. They're fucking great.
Mystify, you mystify me. Mystify.
Aw, sober?
Well, it's great apart from the ending.
Yo, I was literally thinking that exact same thing. I was like, this song ends too quickly. I was like, literally, like, when it just ended there and I saw these things popping up, I was like, no, we're not done. Like, what? No, we can't be done already. Yeah, this song, oh man, this is a great song, but oh, I agree with that guy. I was like, I wanted this song to go like somewhere else, you know what I mean? Which is a piece of I don't know, subjective constructive criticism with some songs. Same with Phil Collins. I'm blanking on the name of the song, the one that it's a great song, but like there's some songs, and the reason why I mention this isn't to be like to have a knock on the artist. It's because the song is so good that I'm like, man, this song deserves like a round two. You know what I mean? Like this song deserves a huge bridge. Especially just the energy of the song is great. The drum beat, the bass, the guitar, like the piano. Like there's so much greatness going on. The vocal performance is phenomenal. I love the character, like going on in his voice as well. And I'm just like, yeah, like again, if I was a producer and I was in the studio, I'd be like, dude, like we got to give this song another minute. We're going to write a big bridge where like we're just gonna really ramp up the energy, ramp everything up, do some like cool, like, you know, almost like Phil Collins in the air tonight, like drum, like that's actually what I almost feel like this song could have had, like some kind of like break in the middle where there's just like this, like everything fades out. You just have this like drum solo, this drum roll, very much like in the air tonight, and then there's like a second part of the song. Like I feel like again, it was interesting is I almost never feel this way. This has only come up, I think, twice in the entire history of this reaction channel where I've had this perspective. But there's just some songs like this and that Phil Collins song where I was like, this song is too good to end like that. Like I just want it. Like, and also that's the whole point is I know like a good artist, you know, there's that whole idea of like, you know, finish on the high note, right? And this is almost like that to the exaggeration, like literally just finish literally on the high note, like, you know, almost to the point where you're leaning in, like waiting for it to continue, and then it's just like, yep, done. I can just like, don't do that to me, man. Like I was really liking that. I was really vibing. But yeah, this was phenomenal. Just everything about it. I love, and I can see now, like, you know, my mom likes INXS. She never listened to any INXS growing up, but like I remember just a couple years ago when I, like, you know, because she knows I do this reaction channel, she's like, I really love INXS. And this was before we did any INXS on the channel. I was like, oh, interesting. Like I just kind of threw it in the back of my mind. But now that we've done a couple INXS songs, I'm like, Mom, like, bravo. Like, yeah, they rock. Like they just, I think also sometimes when I hear the first song we did by them was, again, that one in Prague. I'm blanking on the name of it. I forget what it's called. But that one was more like a mid-tempo ballad. It was definitely like a slower song, and it was more subdued. And I thought that's what INXS was going to be. I thought they were going to be like a balladier band. You know what I mean? Like almost like Richard Marx, which again, Richard Marx could be different than I'm expecting. We've only heard that one song by Richard Marx. But when the first thing I'm introduced by sometimes is like not only a ballad, but a great ballad, I'm like, oh, they're just a quintessential ballad band. You know what I mean? Where then this comes on and I'm like, this still has, again, you can tell the DNA of the chorus and the melody of the song was written with just him and a piano. So it has an intimate vibe to it. This song has a very intimate vibe, even though there's a lot going on. But you can tell it's like, okay, this was written with just him and a piano, right? You can feel the DNA of that in the vocal performance and just, again, the intimacy in the vocals. But just, I love the energy of this one. I just love the groove and just how tight it is and how everything going on. I love the energetic piano and then the guitar a little bit like that kind of, not really a guitar. It was kind of like a faded background guitar solo. Like I just love that. Like when you actually like isolate that, it's just like, oh, I like the vibe of it a lot. But yeah, clearly INXS is a band that we are going to have on the channel a lot more. I'm excited to check out more of these guys. Like this was great. They're awesome. And now to see if I'm correct or if you guys can yell at me that his name is not Michael Hutchinson. But yeah, let's jump in the lyrics of this one now. All right, we're back with INXS Mystify, and I was half right. So it's Michael Hutchins, not Michael Hutchinson. So you guys can't get too angry about that. But yeah, Michael is just a phenomenal vocalist. God. Again, it's not that he does anything technically better than anybody else. It's just the richness of his voice. It's his vocal tone. He just has a phenomenal vocal tone. And that's, for me, I was thinking about this on my walk last night. I go for a walk every night and I'll just usually listen to music when it's like just dark out. I just like seeing like the stars and the moon, and I'll just put on some groove. I was listening to Tori Amos last night, and yeah, and some other stuff, and just going through stuff. And I was just like, I realized that I often say my favorite part of a song is the melody. I realize it's not actually always true. I love tone. I didn't realize that. I love tone because I was also listening to Better Than Ezra, Desperately Wanting. And again, I was pardon my speech, but I was listening to the intro of that song, and it's just super simple chords. But the tone on the guitar is phenomenal. It is so, like, atmospheric. And I was like, there's nothing about the actual melody of the chords right now that it's that great, but this is hitting hard right now. Like, the vibe was just, like, perfect. And I was like, okay, tone is way more important than I thought it was. And then I think about, like, you know, one of my favorite bands growing up was Bullfire Valentine. And I always found their clean guitar tone, which for anyone that doesn't know, clean guitar is like when it's not distorted, it's not riff and heavy, it's clean. It's like they had the best guitar tone. Like their clean tone is amazing. Same with, like, you know, my favorite band Parkway Drive. Like their clean guitar tone is just phenomenal too. And so I've realized that like tone is everything for me. Or it's not everything, but it's a lot of things. It's a majority of the thing. And so even if Michael Hutchence doesn't necessarily do a melody that I'm a huge fan of, his vocal tone for me fits so well with my ear, and I just, it hits. I just love it. And so songs that, like, let's say someone else covered this song, it might actually not do that much for me. Like, as much as I do really like the melody of the song, the chorus, like, this chorus on paper probably isn't my favorite chorus of all time, but Michael's vocal tone is just so great, and it is a good chorus and it is a good melody. But it's like Michael singing this melody makes it great. You know what I mean? Where, yeah, like they're like, and also I like Michael's ad-libs. I like how he will flourish a note. I like the way he ends certain a chorus or a line. I like him a lot. That's all to say. I like Michael. I like you, Michael. If you watch this video one day, I like you, man. But just so much talent. Just, again, that tone is just fantastic. And everybody in this band just does such a good job. And like I said, I wasn't expecting INXS to have very much going on instrumentally. I thought they were going to be kind of a boring instrumental band, or like a band that has boring instrumentals, but is just Michael's voice is really good and he carries everything. And as much as, yeah, Michael carries a lot, the rest of this band is great too. And also they might be hired guns, because if you actually look at it, right here, okay, never mind. Maybe there is 4 members. So you got Michael on vocals, piano. Is this one of these guys? I think was on piano. And then there's like a drummer and a guitarist, let's say. So yeah, you have Michael, piano, drummer, guitarist, if that's the case. Because I don't know, maybe they're a trio, because it might just be 3 of them, and then they have like hired guns in the studio that play bass and stuff. But yeah, just, God, they're good. I'm really excited to check out more of their ballads. I'm excited to check out more of their mid-tempo stuff. I'm excited to check out more of their energetic stuff. Again, like when you have an artist like Michael and a frontman like Michael with just a vocal tone that connects with you, you're like, you know, it'll be difficult to find something that I'll flat out dislike. That's the thing about vocal tone, is like once you like someone's vocal tone, you're like, you just kind of like everything. There's things that you love, there's things that blow you away, and it's like your least favorite song, like you're like, yeah, I'm not a fan of that song. Like where other people's like, yeah, I don't like that song. Where him, I don't think there'll ever be like a song by INXS probably like, yeah, I don't like that. It'll probably be like, yeah, I don't know, this one didn't do as much for me, but it's still Michael, and he still has a great vocal tone. I've said vocal tone, I think, like 20 times already. So anyway, so let's get in the lyrics. So, all veils and misty streets of blue, almond looks that chill divine. God, he is a poet too. My God. All veils and misty streets of blue, Almost almond looks that chill divine. Some silken moment goes on forever, and we're leaving broken hearts behind. Mystify, mystify me, mystify me. I need perfection. Some twisted selection that tangles me to keep me alive. What I get from here, okay, so obviously bear with me, everyone that's followed the channel for 2.5 years, but trauma bonding, I think. Just, and it might not be, but the simple fact that he's saying, I need perfection, some twisted selection that tangles me to keep me alive. So essentially he's describing a relationship almost like a drug addiction. And anytime you describe a relationship like a drug addiction, it's usually trauma bonding. And for anyone that doesn't know that, just quickly, essentially most people have some trauma from childhood or high school. Usually it's between the times of growing up and high school. There's a big trauma. Usually you develop one of like 3 attachment styles. The 2 major ones are an anxious attachment style, or a fearful, I'm blanking on the word, not fearful attachment style, disconnected. It's essentially avoidant. So you have someone who, and these are pretty much the 2 base attachment styles. Then you have like, you know, a good attachment style, which is you're not really attached. You can maintain your autonomy. And so for me, my default is love anxious. Because of just my unique biology, who I am kind of by default. Like, again, my sensitive nature, my emotional nature, a lot of the time makes me more ripe for anxious attachment styles. And then, you know, again, difficult abusive upbringing makes me have low self-confidence, or not makes me, but leads to me having low self-confidence in my youth. And then I always feel like I need to win people's approval and their love. And so I end up, in all of my previous relationships up until the age of 20 or 21, I would become attracted and get in relationships with women who had avoidant attachment styles. And they were hot and cold, I love you, baby, and then just fucking ghost you for like 2 days, come back like nothing happened, and be like, oh, I love you. And you're like, what the fuck's going on? Like, you just dipped. And then so it's like, that was just the pattern of my life with a lot of relationships growing up. It was just super toxic. And that's trauma bonding. And essentially, you end up like, there's a lot of mystery. So you end up mystifying each other, because the person who's love avoidant finds you mysterious when you're because you're different than them. Like, they're terrified of love. You're this different kind of passionate, forward-moving human being. Again, they're usually attracted to your passion, your willingness to commit, almost overcommit. And then you're attracted to them. This is all subconscious. You're not aware of this. You're attracted to the mystery. Like, for me, I was attracted to the chase. I was attracted to the and also I was also the fixer archetype. So one way I learned to validate myself is by fixing other people and helping other people. So I'd always be a therapist. I'd always help people. And I would essentially live my life for other people. Like, my whole identity was I'm a good person if I'm helping somebody, if I'm a therapist, if I'm always supporting somebody. And so I essentially find somebody who's, you know, I thought a little bit broken, but really I was broken too, just in a different way. And I was like, oh, you know, there's this beauty and grace within them. And if only they could sort out their challenges, sort out their traumas, we could have a great relationship. And that would just play it over and over and over again, where it was like, I was kind of in love with the person in front of me, but really I was like, I know there's something wrong here, but essentially it was like, they have so much potential, and I was wanting that to come forward. There was a massive sexual attraction. There was a massive amount of mystery and mystifying. And then there's this understanding of like, once they change a bit and they open up to me, that was it. So once they open up to me a little bit, then our relationship will really work. Because I know right now it's not working, but you're holding on to the future. and you're holding on to the future because you don't think you can get anything better than what you have now. So I would stay in relationships longer than I should have been in them for like fucking 2 hours. You know what I mean? Like as soon as the red flags came up, I should have been like, yeah, I'm dipping out of here. And then they probably should have saw my red flags of, holy shit, this guy will put up with a lot. Clearly that probably means that he doesn't have very high self-confidence and self-love. Because I didn't. Essentially, I was like, I needed that relationship to make me feel like, again, I was addicted to the relationship, right? So it was just super interesting. So it seems like Michael's talking about that. Just again, that right here. I need perfection, some twisted selection that tangles me to keep me alive. And what's keeping him alive is the addiction, is like the high. You know what I mean? That's what makes you feel like your life has a meaning. And then you like call your friend, you're like, hey man, I just met the best girl ever. And then like you talk really fast and you're like, yeah, she's amazing. Like that's what I would do. And then it's like looking back, I was like, yeah, the way I was describing it was probably a red flag too. Like when it's not calm, it's not like, yeah, you know, I met someone really cool. Like, you know, she's really chill. Or, you know, she's just very mature or whatever, right? And it was like, oh my God, we're in love. Like, you know what I mean? And you're like shaking as you're on the phone. Like you're just so you're just so addicted. Like literally it's like heroin. You're just thinking of the high and like you're thinking about, you know, making out or making love or whatever. And it's just the whole shebang is just gnarly. So yeah, it is funny. It's like part of me now, like I don't really do that anymore. But like there's still a part of me. Like, I remember I was talking to my friend Matt a year ago, and we were talking about past relationships, and he was telling me about one of these trauma-bonded relationships, and he made the comment to me, he's like, dude, I'm in a great relationship right now. He's been in a relationship with his girlfriend for like, I think 6 years or something now. Probably gonna get married. And he told me, he's like, you know, as much as I love, I'm not gonna say her name, but as much as I love Marcy, let's call her Marcy. I don't think I'll ever love somebody like I loved this other girl. And I was like, yeah, dude, that's because like you guys, like that's because she was a drug. Like, yeah, you're not gonna find the same feeling you have with a healthy relationship like when you're on heroin. It's like being sober and be like, yeah, life will never be as great as it was when I was on heroin. It's like, yeah, it makes sense. Like that's why people get addicted to heroin, man, because the high is fucking insane. And so you go like, oh, I don't think I'll love somebody like I love that person. It's like, yeah, because that was a drug, man. And so it's like a lot of people, they're like, yeah, they're like, oh, you know, that's what love is. Love feels like this. It's like, yeah, when it's screwed up, you know? But in all that exists, that tangles me to keep me alive, and all that exists. But none have your beauty. I see your face. I will survive. Mystify me. Eternally wild with the power to make every moment come alive. Eternally wild. I love his lyrical style. He's a great poet. I like his imagery a lot. To make every moment come alive. All those stars that shine upon you while they kiss you every night. All veils and misty streets of blue, almond looks that chill divine, some silken moment goes on forever. And then the silken moment. So essentially like the velvet moment, the silken moment. It's like, again, silk, like when it's running through your fingers, it's so like graceful, pure, flowing, sensual. It's like time when you're with, you know, any lover, but especially someone that you're like addicted to, will have that quality. It's like time is this silken moment. Yeah, it's like this moment of grace, this moment of just enchantment. Another word would be like a moment of enchantment. This enchanted moment goes on forever, and we're leaving. Yeah, we're leaving broken hearts behind. Interesting. I don't. How does that? And we're leaving broken hearts behind. How does that fit into it? And we're leaving broken hearts behind. Is he saying that we finally found a good relationship where we had broken hearts before and now this relationship is mending our hearts? Because obviously when you're in a trauma-bonded relationship, you often think it's the best thing for you. Like you think, essentially, if you're very romantic, you'll think that's like fate. You'll think you found your soulmate. A lot of time it's not your soulmate. It's more like it's something. I wouldn't even call it a twin flame. Twin flames are again a bit more divine than trauma bonds. I think trauma bonds like need to happen. I think like, I don't know, if I look at like the relationship that like changed my life, like it seems like my whole life changed with that relationship. So it seems like it's like part of fate or something. Like I might call that twin flame. I need to like look more into it, and because like it was like the pivotal relationship in my life. Like if that didn't happen, yeah, I'd probably end up with a relationship with someone like that. But it was just that relationship was a catalyst to who I am today. So it's just interesting when you look at those relationships. You're like, as messed up as it was, it's like it showed me all. It was a mirror, and it showed me all of my just insecurities, possessiveness, control issues, all of these things, you know? And I could be completely wrong. Maybe this is actually a great relationship. Like, who do I know, right? I'm just kind of, this is a puzzle, and the words are the puzzle pieces, and I'm kind of piecing it together, right? That's the interesting thing about music from that lens, is that it's a puzzle, and it doesn't have an instruction booklet. But the words and the verses are the puzzle pieces, and it's up to you to try to figure out how it comes together. So this is my interpretation, and I could be wrong. But I love that too. You're eternally wild with the power to make every moment come alive. All those stars that shine upon you while they kiss you every night. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, this was INXS Mystify. Overall, brilliant song. This was great on every level. The song, the vocal performance, the lyrics. Love this. And yeah, what are your favorite INXS songs? Let me know down below. Also, if you want to take part in all of our Theme of the Week votes every week, requests artists, request songs, and all of that fun stuff, and a whole bunch of exclusive bonus content, you can join everybody on Patreon. Link in the description of this video if you're interested, and if you're not, totally cool. And also, we've done, obviously, another INXS song like I mentioned before. So if you want to go on the INXS journey with me, click right here, and I'll see you in the next one.